Hey, what's going on, everybody over there in Math Nation? Mr. Cornell here, ready to go over some intersecting chords, secants, and tangent angles for you. So there's a couple of formulas we're going to go over to explore. Nothing too crazy here. Let's just dive right in. Okay, so here we go. First one. So right here you have two secants. How do I know it's a secant? Well, it's a line, and it's going to intersect. It's going to cross through the circle, and it's going to intersect two times, just like here, AC, and right here, BD. And when they did that, they created some angles here. Notice it is not in the center. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find angle 1. Okay, so the way I like to do this one, to show this, is we're going to figure out the angle that we're looking to find, and we're going to kind of shoot out from there. We'll shoot out this way, and we're going to shoot out this way. And in doing that, you're going to hit two arcs. Okay? And right there, if you could do that, you just figured out your formula. So to find angle 1, you're going to take 1/2 the sum of those two arcs we just hit, which was AD and BC. Now, it doesn't matter what order you write it in because you're adding them, so there you go. That's how you're going to do that one. Let's look at angle 2. So this is the angle I want to find. Shoot out from there. Look at the two arcs that you hit, which was AB and CD, and that's your formula. So to find angle 2, you're going to do 1/2 of AB plus CD. So that's what happens when you have two secants or chords. Okay, so this is what it would look like if it was two chords. The chords, remember, are just staying inside, hitting in two spots, where the secants were outside, hitting in two spots. Okay, those were lines. So the inside the circle, then the measure of the angle formed, which is angle 1 or angle 2, is equal to 1/2 of the sum of the intercepted arcs, which is what we had here. All right, so let's take a look at some examples here. So the first one says to find the measure of angle AED. So here's AED. So it wants this angle right here. Call him X. So that's going to shoot out from there. We'll shoot out from there. The two arcs were 45 and 109. So X is equal to 1/2 45 plus 109. And again, you could do 109 plus 45. Order doesn't really matter in this particular case. And that's going to be 76 degrees. So there you go. AED is 76. Let's try another one. Find the measure of angle STR. So we'll trace STR. That's this angle here. We'll call him X. Shoot out from there, 112, 186. So what you're going to do is you would say that X is equal to 1/2 of the 186 plus 112, and that's going to give us 149 degrees, and that's the measure of angle STR. Okay, one more here, number 3, find the measure of angle YWX. YWX, that's right here. If I shoot out from there, we got this arc and this arc. Now notice how this one's a little bit different. There are no numbers there. The numbers that they gave me were the 81 and the 43, which are across from each other, which would actually only be able to give me this angle. So does anyone remember what it is I could do to figure out how to find that other angle? All right, so maybe you said, well, if I found this angle here, then I could subtract it from 180 because this is a straight line, and that would give you that angle. What you can't say is you could just do 180 minus 43 and 180 minus 81 because these are straight lines. Because remember, to have a straight line or to have an arc of 180, it has to go through the center. And since these are not going through the center, you can't just do 180 minus 43 to figure out that arc and that arc. So we're going to try to use that first method of finding this other angle and then subtracting that answer from 180. So to find that angle, we're going to do 1/2 of 43 plus 81, and that's going to give me 62. So that right there, okay, this angle here is going to be 62. So if I'm drawing it, I'm looking at this angle 62. So to find the angle which they were looking for, which is this guy right here, I could just do 180 minus 62, and that's going to give me 118 degrees. And that is going to be the answer for the question there. And 4, okay, switch it up totally now, because now they're asking me to find arc LK. Okay, they want me to find arc LK. Well, that came from this angle, okay, shooting up that way. So this angle, which is 62, because remember the formula is the angle is equal to 1/2 the sum of the two arcs. Well, one of those arcs is x, and the other arc is 74. Now from here, it's kind of basic algebra. There's a couple of different ways that you can do it. You could distribute this 1/2 and solve for x. I like to try to get rid of that 1/2 right away. And I can do that because this whole thing is being multiplied. So I could just multiply over here by 2/1, because that ends up canceling that out there. So then that's going to give us 124 equals x plus 74. Subtract the 74 on both sides, and you're going to get 50 degrees. And that would be arc LK. So those are the different ways you can look at that. And that's what happens when you have two chords, like in this case, or two secants, and the formula you're going to use to solve that one. Okay, but what happens if you had a secant or maybe a chord or something and a tangent line? So remember, by definition, a tangent line will be a line that hits the circle in only one spot. Well, this one's actually a little bit easier, because you see it creates an angle here. Now that angle is outside the circle, but we don't care. And that angle is going to be 1/2 of that arc. So angle 1 would just be 1/2 of arc AB. Angle 2 there would be 1/2 of that arc. So that goes from here to there. That's a major arc traced by A, C, B. So that's how you're going to do that one. So that is a tangent and a chord or a secant there, which would create those angles. So what we have here, we have some practice problems. So if you want to give those a try, you can give those a try. All right, so angle DEG. So DEG, that's right here, traced it, was formed from this major arc here, DHE or EHG, and then that's going to be 1/2 of the arc. So what's half of 308? And that's going to be 154. Next one, find angle DBC. So that's right here. And that means I would take 1/2 of this arc. But I don't have that arc, I have this arc. So there are two ways that you can go about that. One of the ways is you can just figure out this guy, similar to the question we did earlier. So I would do 1/2 of 192, and that's going to give me 96. So this angle here is 96 degrees. And then I can just do 180 minus 96, and that's going to give me, what is that, 84, and that's going to be your answer there. You could always do 360, because this is a circle that has two arcs, minus 192, and that would give you this arc here, BD, and take half of that. That looks like it would be 168. So 360 minus 192 would be 168, and then half of that would be 84. That's the way you can do that one. So two ways to do that one. Last one, 5XY. So XY is this tiny little guy right here. And that would be, well, you need to figure out what this arc, this little angle is right here. Again, you have a straight line. That's 151. So find out what's left. So 180 minus 151, that's going to be 29 degrees. Now go out. So if we're going out, we're going to double the angle to figure out the arc, and that's going to be 58 degrees. So there's some work there with finding out the angles formed by tangents and secants. All right, now here's a couple of, again, similar questions. But now, instead of those lines intersecting inside of the circle, we're going to intersect outside of the circle. So here are three examples, two secants, and they hit right there at angle A. Here's a secant here, hits in two spots. Here's your tangent hitting one spot. There's your angle right there. And then here are two angles right there, or two tangent lines that hit right there. All right, so now this is going to be a little bit different, but similar in the same way. So angle A, again, here's that like shoot out again, hits two arcs again. One at BD and one at CE. Okay, so it's very similar. So you're going to take 1/2. Now instead of adding the arcs, we're going to subtract the arcs. Not super duper important, but you have to be careful here. Now when you subtract, let's take two numbers, 10 and 8, right? If I did 10 minus 8, that's 2. But if I did 8 minus 10, it's -2. So you have to be careful when you're subtracting the two arcs. It's always better to subtract the major, or I shouldn't say that, the larger arc, okay, from the smaller arc. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a negative angle. Now, if you just say, well, I could just do that and just turn it to positive, well, if you remember that, that's fine. But sometimes it could trip you up, like the last example that we're going to do in a little while. So again, try to take the larger arc and subtract it from the smaller arc so you don't have to worry about any negatives. So that would be arc CE, and that would be arc BD. There you go. That's what you're going to do there. We're going to do the same thing. Take that one, shoot out. What are those two arcs that you hit? So you would take 1/2. The larger arc was BD. The smaller arc was BC. There you go there. It just looks a little bit different. And then this one, again, do the same thing, except, well, this one looks the weirdest. Well, the larger one is right here, and then the smaller one is right there. So two tangents, you're going to be dealing with the whole circle, but you're still using the same formula. So the larger one here was that major arc BDC, and then you're going to subtract it from that minor arc of BC. That's how it works. So let's do a couple practice to make sure we got it. First one, find angle KLM. So KLM, that's right here. Shoot out, you hit your two arcs there. So the angle is going to be 1/2. The larger arc was 140. The smaller arc was 66. So then you're going to go ahead and subtract those two, and you have like 39 here. Angle PQR. All right, here it is. Here's that weird one again. That's why I was talking about 360 earlier. So PQR, you shoot it out, right? And then you have PSR, and then PR. But the problem is they didn't give you PR. So it would be 1/2. The larger one was 313, but, well, what was this little one? There are only two arcs, so you would do 360 minus the 313, and that's going to give you 47. So 47 is what's going to go there, okay? So just remember that the two tangents, you're dealing with the whole circle, 360 degrees. So 1/2, 313 minus 47, that's 133. Number 9, angle ABC. All right, again, let's be a little bit careful here. Here's ABC. Shoot out. So you need to do 1/2. The larger arc, well, the large arc is AD minus the small arc, which is AC. But again, they didn't give it to me. Similar to that last one. Here's one arc. Here's two arcs. Here's three arcs. All three of those are going to be 360. 360 minus 88 minus 62. One way to do it. Whatever way you're going to do it, we're going to end up here with 210 degrees. So you would end up with 210 minus 62. And that's going to give us 74. Last one. Okay. SW, that's the question. That's what they wanted. So just go like this, right? Same thing. So the angle is equal to 1/2 the two arcs. Well, one of the arcs, the larger one, is X, and then the smaller one here is 75. So this is what I was talking about where things can get dicey. if you're not really paying attention to who you're subtracting, because you might think you have the right answer, but you'd be doing 75 minus x if you did it the other way around. So just make sure you're just trying to keep in mind, remember to try to do the larger arc minus the smaller arc. Let's see, here's that 1/2 again, doing some basic algebra. Flip it, reciprocal, 2/1 cancels them out. So 80 equals x minus 75. Move that 75 to the other side, and we're going to end up with 155. All right. Let's see. Last one. Let's write it out. Arc NJ is 170. That's this big guy over here, 170. Arc MK is 5x plus 8. And angle MLK, that's right here, that's going to be 4x plus 3. So they said find MLK. Okay? So that's the angle. Shoot it out. You hit this arc and this arc. So the angle is 4x plus 3, which is equal to 1/2. The larger arc is 170. The smaller arc is 5x plus 8. Now, you can't leave it like I just wrote it like that. 5x plus 8 is a number. Okay, 5x plus 8 is some single number. So if I was doing this question, I would be doing 170 minus whatever that single number is. But in this case, they expressed that as 5x plus 8. So you're not just subtracting 5x plus 8, but you're subtracting, you're not just subtracting the 5x, but you're subtracting the 5x and the 8. So you have to be really careful when doing this question. Okay, this was a really tricky one here. So you're really doing 170 minus 5x minus 8. So you're not just subtracting 5x, you're subtracting the whole expression of 5x plus 8. So it's minus 5x minus 8. Okay, so that's where all that came from there. All right, so there's one trick for this problem. Here's another one. If we kind of follow the same patterns that we did on all the other ones, you're multiplying this by 2/1. You're not only multiplying the 4x and the 2, but you're also doing the 4x with the 3. Okay, so you just make sure that you're careful when you're doing these questions, that you're subtracting everybody that needs to get subtracted, that you're multiplying everybody that needs to get multiplied. All right, so let's do some quick maths here. So this is going to be move the 5x over here. That's going to get 13x. 170 minus 8 minus 6 from moving that guy over there is going to be 156. Divide by 13 and you're going to end up with 12. Now the question says to find this angle, so I'm going to do 4 times 12 plus 3, that's 48, that's 51 degrees, and that's our final answer. All right, so that's some work with some angles with intersecting chords, secants, and tangents. Hopefully this helped everybody here today. Like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you guys think. Have a great day.